You're fully booked with the waitlist and you made the decision you are going to hire a commission waxer. In this episode today, I'm going to break down exactly how to do this step by step, and I'm actually in this right now. I just did a 14-month update on our commission-based studio. I've learned a ton, and I'm going to share it all with you guys today. Welcome to The Rebel Show, the podcast for estheticians who want to grow their business, master social media, and perfect their waxing technique. I'm Bree Mesquit, esthetician, business coach, and founder of Rebel Wax and first-to-market wax pads. I built a 6-figure clientele, a 7-figure brand, and have trained over 15,000 waxers through my in-person and online courses. Are you struggling to book clients or market yourself? You're in the right place. Each week, I bring real business strategies, waxing education, and no BS advice to help you grow. Let's get into it. This episode has been highly requested, and I've seen a lot of talk about this, especially on social media, with waxers not knowing what the heck to do once you're fully booked and there's nowhere else to put any clients, which is a first world problem. So first of all, congratulations. This is a great problem to have. So I did do an episode about this on what the heck to do. So go check that one out if you haven't listened to that yet. If your decision was, I'm going to move forward with hiring a commission-based waxer, then you're in the right spot because I'm going to break it down for you. First step is making sure you're truly ready to hire someone on and that it's the right timing. I mean, if you're 100% booked and when people reschedule or cancel, you have nowhere to put them for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks out, then you're ready. But you can even be ready when you're at about 80% consistently booked. So when you look at your backend analytics, I use Gloss Genius, so they have a booking utilization analytic. If that number is 80% or higher consistently for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, you're consistently at that 80% booking utilization, then you are in a fantastic place to be able to bring on a commission waxer. Also, you want to make sure that you are consistently able to be bringing in about 30 new clients per month. That should be the goal. Right now, you may be bringing that in, but having to turn people away because you have nowhere to put them. Hopefully you have a wait list going on, but if you have about 30 new clients coming in per week, then you are ready. So if you check that box, we will move on to step number 2. You need to pick a simple but fair commission and payment structure. What I personally do, and this is going to vary per state. For example, California, I know has some very interesting rules on commission base. I'm not fully sure what they are. It's something along the lines of, I believe if you're paying commission on services, you also have to pay double minimum wage hourly. I could be completely wrong on this, but I just remember hearing it, and I know Lady Paying deals with this, and it's like, okay, it's a lot. It doesn't leave a lot of room for profits. She got very creative with her structure, and it's fantastic because her waxers bring home 6 figures a year, which is so freaking cool. So the goal for me was to be able to really create a structure where, first of all, they're always getting paid, never just sitting around, especially during the build phase when they're new. If they're there at the studio, they need to be getting paid. Also, room for growth to be able to make a really decent income. I want longevity with the people that come into the studio, and I want them to be able to not only live, but thrive off of their wages and be able to clock in, clock out, and not have the stressors of running your own business like us crazy people have embarked on. So sometimes I wish that European Wax Center's commission structure was a little bit better. Maybe I would have stuck around. So our goal is to create a great structure where our people are taken well care of and they stick around. Also, I've seen this conversation coming up a lot lately where commission-based waxing studios or just studios in general are kind of a dying art. It's all rentals. And I would have to say I agree on that. So I think it's really admirable for those of us who are stepping up to do this and do this right with making sure we're taking care of both our client, but our waxers, our employees. It's so important. And I feel like sometimes clients get prioritized over the employees, and you need to be prioritizing both. So what do I specifically do for my studio? I pay minimum wage hourly or 30% commission, whichever one is higher per pay period. And the reason why I did this is because when we were first building, there was oftentimes when she was just sitting around waiting for clients. Maybe we had one for the day or two and she had a large gap. I never wanted her just sitting in there without getting paid. So when we first got started with Adwin, she was mostly taking home that hourly. Now, I know it's not a huge hourly amount. We're paying minimum wage, but we quickly were starting to compound and bring in new clients, working on retention, working on getting those new clients to come back. And then after, I can't remember exactly, maybe 3-4 months, then it really ended up being where she was taking home that 30% commission because that was higher and she had more stable stream of clients coming into her on a regular basis. Also, of course, she keeps her tips. She gets paid commission, 10% on any retail that is sold, packages as well. We have service packages. And then we also always like to throw in bonuses too, depending on what it is that we're really wanting to focus on for that month. So one month we really needed to focus on gaining more Google reviews. So I gave her a bonus of like $5 per review that she had, and she racked up a decent little bonus with that one as well. So I love throwing in those bonuses too. But that's our commission structure and it's been working out really well. It's simple. When it's time to go to run payroll, I do have a team that runs payroll, but the calculations and everything is pretty straightforward and easy. And she's slowly but surely building up her income and it's fantastic. Also, when we are training, anytime I had her come in for training, she's getting paid for that time as well. So when we were doing hands-on training, she was getting paid. We do bi-weekly meetings, so she's clocked in, she's getting paid. So really important that you are paying them for their time. Quick interruption to the show for my waxers who are getting busier every month, but inventory has you stressed out, feels unpredictable. This is going to make your life a whole lot easier. With a Rebel Wax subscription, you can save 10 to 15% plus unlock free shipping on select tiers, and you never have to worry about running out again. We've all been there. You have a full day of clients, look in your pot, realize you're almost out, you're forced to pay rush shipping, do an emergency supply run, buying wax that you're unfamiliar with, and oftentimes is overpriced, or even worse, you have to cancel your clients. It's stressful, it's inconvenient, and it disrupts your entire day, sometimes even your entire week. With subscriptions, you can customize everything: your formula, your bag size, your quantity, your frequency of delivery, 30, 60, 90, 120 days, and your wax will ship to you automatically. And you can pause, skip, or cancel at any time. This was made for solo waxers who want consistency and savings as they grow. To get started, visit lashandwaxoc.com, choose your bag size, your formula, the quantity that you would like, and then make sure to click subscribe and save. Then you will see 30, 60, 90, and 120 day delivery options. Choose which one is best for you, then click add to cart. Once you do this, your discount applies immediately and your wax will ship right on time. Again, visit lashandwaxoc.com, set up your subscription, and make stocking wax the easiest part of your month. Now back to the show. Next step is you need to define their role before recruiting. Now, this is something I did correctly when it came to hiring a waxer, but I did incorrectly and learned the hard way when hiring for a warehouse associate on our product-based side of our business. This is way more important than I ever had realized. Titles of people's positions are really important, and their role and their scorecard. So this is something you want to break down in detail. So when it comes to their role, you want to break down everything that they're going to be doing on a daily basis. Obviously, they're going to be servicing clients. They're going to be helping with making sure the room is kept orderly, clean, sanitized. They are responsible for rebooking their clients. What's that rebooking rate standard that you have? For us, our goal is always 60 to 70%. That isn't always going to be the case at the beginning, but putting all of this out there from the beginning so they know to focus on these numbers is going to make such a difference. I've made this mistake by not doing this, and it's really difficult to backtrack when you've already created habits. We all create our own habits, and if this isn't top of mind from the beginning, it's hard to start implementing later. You also want to find someone who, for me personally, someone who is licensed, very coachable. If during training they continue to tell me I know that, or I know, or I am, when I'm watching them do something, lay a strip, for example, and they're buttering, and I'm just like, okay, make sure, we're holding at a 90-degree angle, and they're, I know. but they're not doing it, I can't stand it. It doesn't show me that they're super coachable. So that's something really important to me. My ideal, honestly, is someone who is really great in their technique. I also am willing to train on that. I'm very confident in my training on that. So it's not it's not non-negotiable for me at all when it comes to training. I'm looking more at their character and their character traits, bedside manner, being coachable. An ideal is they master technique already. They're really great at it. They've opened up or tried to go solo and it just wasn't for them being a business owner. They just want to do what they love. That's my ideal, because I want someone who's going to stay long-term with us. And if they just know that opening up their own business isn't for them, that's so fantastic, because you can really have them grow with you within your business. I also, though, am not opposed to those who do want to open up their own business. I just want to have that clear expectation and conversation from the very beginning, so that I kind of know what timeline and if this is someone that I want to bring in at this time. For me right now, with where I'm at with my studio, only having one commission-based waxer, that isn't someone that I would choose to hire on right now. But in the future, when I have maybe 6 waxers already working, I wouldn't mind if I had someone coming in that eventually wanted to go solo, but they wanted to gain some experience up front at first. I'm totally fine with that. Obviously, I'm a big proponent of opening up your own business and going solo and chasing after your dreams. And I would be happy to be a part of that when it makes sense for my business to bring someone in like that. So having that clear conversation up front is really important. And then you also want to tell them what success looks like. Like, what is a win? What is winning in your role? This is going to be a little bit more on you as the business owner to be marketing and bringing in new clients, but then their speed too. What was your expectation on how quickly they need to be able to do each service? And do you have a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan? That's going to be really important. Your first 30 days, maybe you're giving them 30 minutes, 45-minute block to be able to do a Brazilian, while also focusing on retention and rebooking and educating the clients and aftercare and all the things. It's a lot for someone that's newer to your business and learning your systems to fit into a 15-minute time slot. So maybe you start off at 45, then you push them, okay, at the 30-day mark, we're moving you to a 30-minute slot. And then the goal after 90 days, maybe it's 6 months, maybe a year, whatever it is that you decide. Then if you want them down to a 15-minute time slot, you just want to be very clear on that, so you guys always know the goal that you're working towards together. Their rebooking rate. What percentage do you expect? I really, again, 60 to 70% is a really, really strong target to reach. So this means rebooking is meaning that the client books their next appointment before they leave that current appointment or within 24 hours. It's really difficult with that though, because once clients leave, they get busy, their life takes over, they have a laundry list of things to do, and they forget about rebooking their appointment. So really, to me, rebooking is right then and there before they leave. Retention rate. So retention is going to be, do they come back, the percentage of people that come back for a second appointment or their next appointment within a time frame that you set up. I pull our retention numbers for an 8-week period, but the goal is to get each client to be on a 4 to 6 week schedule, but I do pull it for 8 weeks. Another great goal for this one is going to be that 60 to 70%. If you guys are hitting those numbers, you are golden. You will be doing very, very well, both you and your commission waxers. Reviews per month. How many reviews do you want them to be collecting? Is it 5? Is it 10? What you don't write down and you don't have as an expectation, they're not going to do. And I learned this with my girl. We talked about Google, but I never gave her really a goal. So it was just kind of an afterthought and not on the forefront of her mind. It is on mine as the business owner, but I need to make this exciting and something front of mind for her as well. And I did a poor job at doing that. And then one month, that's when I did the little bonus. I'm like, hey, I'll give you $5. All of a sudden my phone was blowing up all day with new reviews. So make sure that you're writing these things down and having it as an expectation from the very beginning. And I really love doing those little bonuses or rewarding. Like even if you don't put it out there ahead of time, when you see someone doing something really great it's beneficial for the business, like reward that. What you reward, you'll get more of. If you never define success, you'll end up resenting them for a job they're not doing that you never explained. And I have fallen into this, especially with my warehouse associates. That job position is a fun one. It's a fun one. I've learned a lot from it though. It's fantastic. It's a great learning lesson. Next step is now finding your waxers. So where to find them. So what you can do, okay, this is what I did. We posted on Indeed and we got so many applicants from that. I was actually really surprised because that was my first time using Indeed. I'll also post on my socials, of course. And then you can reach out to like your local schools, send it out to your email list. So send it to your client list and be like, hey, we're bringing on new waxer. Maybe you never know. Maybe some of your clients know someone. You want to use all your resources of people that you know. And I think referrals are like the best way to go. So calling a school and being like, hey, that's actually how European Wax Center got me to start working for them, is they called the school and they said, is there any students that really stood out to you that you think could be a potential good fit for this position? And then they let me know and I reached out to European, and then the rest is history, as they say. Having that role written out and mapped out very clearly, your expectations, the scorecard, that's what you're going to be posting and using to make the job description. So it's very, very important that you already have that done first. Now, when it comes to interviewing, so this is what I did and what I would do a little bit different for the next time. I actually might be hiring a part-time person here soon. I had my assistant Alexis do the first round of interview. Well, first of all, we would both browse through the Indeed applications that were coming in. I kind of scanned real lightly. She more dug in a little bit and then pushed to me the ones that she thought could be a potential good fit. Then we went ahead, I gave the sign off on yes, go ahead and schedule their first interview. And I had Alexis interview them. And I had a list of questions that I had her to ask them. I believe there was like 4 or 5 questions. And Alexis would go through those with them and record the call so I could listen in. So she was like my first line of defense of just like really weeding out anyone who just wasn't going to be a good fit, especially a good culture fit. So one thing that I can't stand is when people say, that's not my job, or they're just not willing to give it their all. Like I always tell, my husband and I talk about this all the time because I can't stand bad customer service. And we'll go places and it's like, you can tell when people just don't care about their job and don't take it seriously. And I really believe one of the biggest reasons for our success was no matter what position we were in, we did it to the best of our ability. And I'm looking for people like that. I don't care if you are scrubbing floors like at a gas station, freaking scrub those damn floors the best that you can. You never know who is watching, first of all, and it's just building your reputation. And it's how do you want to go to bed at night being proud of yourself that you're doing everything to the best of your ability? People that don't care about that is a big red flag for me. So the questions kind of stemmed around character. We asked like hobbies, things like that. How would your best friend describe you? Asking their goals, being very specific too about asking like, are you looking to eventually go solo? Like that's okay if you are. Are you looking eventually to build your own business? And then also I would have Alexis kind of try to scare them off a little bit with saying what a pain in the ass I am to work for. It was so funny to listen to that part of the recording. I was like giggling the whole time, but I told her, I was like, no, try to scare them. Like I have very high expectations and like, whatever. I can't remember exactly how she worded it, but pretty much you're kind of trying. And I learned this from my business coach and I thought it was kind of weird at first, but I committed to coaching with him. So I did whatever he told me to do and it worked. He said, you're almost wanting to talk them out of the job. So she would do that. And the ones that were like not scared of that and they were actually excited and wanted to be part of that and wanted to be part of the build. That was one thing too, that we were very honest about. This is a brand new venture. You will be, on the front lines of helping build this. So it can be a little chaotic at times. It can be disorganized as we learn through this and build together. Have you ever been part of a startup? Like, are you up for being able to be flexible and being able to pivot and being able to help build with us and give us some grace as we learn through this too. So being super honest about that. So if you're listening to this episode, I'm kind of suspecting that this is your first time hiring a waxer as well. So I think having that open, honest conversation. Now, what if you don't have an assistant that can do the first line of interviews for you? You may want to recruit a family member or something. If you have anyone that you think would be willing to do this for you, I think that would be ideal. You can also send through an email like questions that they would answer and ask them to answer on video and send it to you. Or you can just do a phone call interview with them at first, which is what Alexis did. So you would just do it with them instead of having someone else do that for you. And then if you liked what you heard through that call, then you could have them come in for an in-person interview. So that was our next step. Anyone that after listening to the call with them and Alexis that I really liked and I wanted to get to know more and meet in person, they came into my office and then I talked to them in person as well. So I wish I would have had them come in and perform a wax, not even necessarily to judge their technique. Like, it's nice to see where their starting point is, but also just how they bedside manner, how they communicate with the client, how they walk the client through the service, and how they just interact with the client in general. I wish I would have made that part of my interview process. So going forward, I'm going to have a 3-part interview process: phone call with Alexis, in person with me, and then a demo. So kind of like a audition, I guess. So when I first started out, I hired 2, and then I quickly realized I'm in over my head. I needed to start with 1 so I could give her the focus that she needs, give her the proper training, really help build up her clientele, make sure she's making a steady income before bringing a second waxer in. So if you are going to be hiring, I would recommend hiring just 1, which I'm sure the majority of you are. My situation is a little different because I'm no longer in the treatment room. So I was transferring my business and my studio from renters to commission-based. So really, I do need as many in there as busy as possible for it to make sense to keep the doors open. I guess I got a little ahead of myself on my notes here, but step 5 is just having that 90-day plan of execution. So really breaking it down. It's like day 30, speed of service, like I was talking about, but also what are you guys going to be training on? What's your training method? So what I had my waxer do was I have my free 6-week course. So that was so nice to be able to utilize that. Oh my gosh, I did so much of the legwork for myself already. And for you guys can use that to hire on your waxers as well. Have them go through my free 6-week course and then come in and do hands-on practice. Now with having Sage available, if you guys aren't familiar with what Sage is, it's a mannequin. It's a waxing mannequin specific for Brazilians. Oh my gosh, what a game changer, because you can start with technique and patterns and all of that on the mannequin before burning through clients. Because when I have clients come in to be a demo model and it's completely free for them, a lot of times if they have a good experience, they end up coming back and being a reoccurring client. So it's a really great way to help build your new waxers books, but you want to get them to a certain point in their technique before having them practice on real people so that you can have a better chance of those people coming back and actually being paying clients. You need to be clear on what it is that you're going to commit to for that first 90 days and then what they're committed to. So how much attention are you going to be giving them? I mean, I would break it down to the scripts that you're going to be using with them, the technique that you're going to be teaching them when they're taking clients. Like, are you committing to being there for the first 30 days so you're at least on site? The goal here is to free up more of your time, right? You're fully booked with a wait list. You can't expand your schedule, but to be realistic, you are going to be working a little bit more up front now because you have someone else you're responsible for and training. In the short term, you're going to be busier, but you're setting yourself up for success in the long term. So just know that too. It's not going to be day 1 that you're just throwing them to the wolves and letting them do their own thing. You're going to have to be very much involved, okay? So that's really the breakdown, you guys. It sounds simple, but I know it's not easy, especially if it's new to you. Just take one step at a time and just get into it. It's okay for you to make mistakes here. I've made so many hiring mistakes, but we're now at a team of, we have 9 employees, which including myself and my husband. So 7 in total now. And I've made mistakes all along the way and continue to. You do not need to have this nailed down and perfect before you decide to bring on that first person. The way you get better at this, just like with waxing, just like with opening up your business, just like with anything, is actually getting in the game and doing it. You cannot learn anything just from the sidelines and continuing to just absorb information. You have the information, you have what it takes, do it, and you may make a mistake. You probably will, and it's okay. You're going to learn from it, and this is how you're going to build that muscle, and eventually you will be a hiring pro in no time. My final takeaway and word of advice for you is something I learned from my business coach is hire slow, fire fast. Do not hire out of desperation to fill this as quickly as possible. Wait for that right person, okay? Hire slow, fire fast. Once you see that they are not a good fit, they got to go. You got to move on to the next. That will slowly drain and kill your business so fast, burn you out, and you'll probably write off hiring people ever again in the future, and we don't want that to happen. So hire slow, fire fast. And if you listen to this and you're like, I'm not ready to embark on hiring a commission-based waxer, but you are fully booked with a wait list and you want other options of what direction to go ahead and tune into this episode here. If you're listening on Spotify, you'll head back to episode 99. I'll see you guys over there.